Do you want this DeAndre Swift signed jersey? All you have to do is be a subscriber for a chance to win when we hit 2K. We'll be giving it away to one of you guys. And you know what? Honestly, we've been growing this channel at a steady pace this last about month. So that might be given away here in the next month or two. Maybe even quicker. Come on, guys. Let's go. All right. We are going to be doing Dynasty Startup, basically advice. We're getting into the time where people are starting to talk about the Super Bowl. But right after the Super Bowl, we have this huge gap. Right between the Super Bowl, we got Senior Bowl, then we got the NFL Draft, and it's like, okay, well, I want to be a part of more leagues. So I'm going to go through some startup strategies, some startup things that you absolutely have to know. And if you don't know them, this is going to be a Superflex recommendation. And the first recommendation in Superflex, and if you are new to Superflex, this is gold, and it is quarterbacks are the gold. And it is so incredibly important to have at least 2 good quarterbacks. And sometimes I like to have 3, 4 quarterbacks. You can't have too many quarterbacks. There's only, especially in a 12-team league, there's only 32 starters in a given week, plus some injuries and stuff. So quarterbacks, like let's say if you have a Josh Allen, a Herbert, a Burrow, a Patrick Mahomes, a Dak Prescott, like these quarterbacks might be good for 5, 10, 15 years. Not Dak because he's later 20s, but some of the other quarterbacks are in their early 20s and they might have 15 years. They might be the next Drew Brees, Ben Roethlisberger in length of history of what they can help you do in Dynasty Fantasy Football. This is so important. About half the first 2 rounds are going to be quarterbacks. It is almost guarantee that you have to have at least one in the first 2 rounds. Almost a guarantee. You have to do that because if you are playing the running back and wide receiver, and let's say it's tight end premium too, of course, then you are playing the game where you are going to have to try to get quarterbacks in the upcoming drafts, 2022, 2023, 2024, like all these rookie drafts. And more times than not, they're going to bust unless you somehow get that random hit. Right now, we have a huge influx of young superstar quarterback talent, and you have to grab one of those. If you can get one of the ones I said, whether it's Burrow, Herbert, Mahomes, Josh Allen, Dak, I mean, if you can get one of those like 5, 6 quarterbacks, it's going to be so important versus getting a Najee Harris, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. Like those are all great players, but in the first 2 rounds, you have to get yourself a quarterback. In fact, I'd like to have 2 before right around round 4. I would say my first 2 of my first 4 picks are quarterbacks. And I want 2 really good quarterbacks so then I can worry about other positions. And the next thing is I draft tight end early, especially tight end premium. I want one of the big 4 or 5 tight ends. So I'm talking about Andrews, Hawkinson, kind of in the younger tier, because Kelsey is getting to that point, so getting over the edge, I should say. So I want Hawkinson. Pitts is going to be the number 1 tight end. So, and then you got Andrews and then Kittle. So you got 4-ish tight ends. Maybe even if you want to count Pat Freiermuth being kind of into that second tier as well. But I want one of the big 4 if I possibly can. Kelsey maybe kind of be in that top 5, but he's getting to that point. Is like if you're going to draft him, you have to know that you have maybe a year, 2 years left of Kelsey, and that is it. He's already surpassing records at his age that no other tight end has done. So you have to understand that the hill is going to be coming close. Actually, that's kind of Tyreek Hill, but that was not trying to be a pun there. That was just trying to be actual advice. So we have the first 4 rounds. We have 2 quarterbacks and a tight end. That is usually my best strategy. And a lot of times I get then a wide receiver, the best wide receiver running back available into that group. And then that's where I start to fill in my positional players. So we get into that first 4 rounds. You have, again, 2 QBs, tight end, and a position player. And then we get into rounds 5 through, I'm just going to say 9. 5 through 9 are super important. You get the youth. You get the position players. You figure out where exactly your draft is going. Are you going into contending mode right away? Are you going in rebuilding mode right away? I like to draft some youth through there. I don't like to draft the veterans quite yet. And I'm potentially looking at a 3rd quarterback. There's a lot to do into that 5 through 9. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You got 5 picks. Of course, maybe 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and another quarterback. Wherever it's BPA, best player available that fits my team. If, again, I have, let's say, round 7 comes around and I have a 25-year-old wide receiver and a 28-year-old wide receiver and I'm a contending team, maybe I take the 28-year-old wide receiver. But if it's really, really close, maybe I'm a youth guy, so I take the 25-year-old wide receiver anyways. But if it's maybe you have let's just say a rookie, let's say the next rookie, maybe it's Treylon Burks versus a veteran wide receiver, and I'm going to say veteran being like 26, 27 years old, kind of in the prime. Maybe I take that prime guy if I'm going in for it now versus a Treylon Burks. And so rookies, youth, positional players, that is my core group of 5 through 9. Then 10 through, we'll just say like 15, 10 through even 20, we are getting big boomer bust players. We are talking about the lottery tickets. Those lottery tickets are super fun. Some of them are going to bust out and be absolutely worthless in 12 months. And some of them are going to be worth a lot. And so if you're the Elijah Mitchell owner of last year, James Robinson the year before, like that's probably this lottery ticket range. And who knows who'll be the lottery tickets this year. We'll go through some probably up in the upcoming weeks of what some of these lottery tickets might be. The other thing I am doing in this group of picks, rounds 10 through 20, and usually they go all the way to 25 to 30. But I am picking veterans that I think are going to be good fill-ins from a week-to-week basis that still have, even if it's a year. This is the Melvin Gordon range if Melvin Gordon drops, or this is the over-the-hill type running backs. Last year would have been even later into maybe the late teens would have been like a Devontae Freeman or Latavius Murray. You were trying to pick some of these, maybe even handcuffs for some of your teams. So if you had a J.K. Dobbins, or you're looking at previous injuries too, because I got J.K. Dobbins, I think it was late in round 9, 10-ish area. Deshaun Watson, again, a player that might not play ever again, but again, it's lottery ticket. He's the lottery ticket mode. Again, lottery ticket and veteran players. And let's just say Allen Robinson Allen Robinson's a bad. Let's say Robert Woods. Robert Woods, where does he fall in dynasty startups? Maybe he keeps falling and falling and falling. He could be a player, again, value there. So you're just trying to find the absolute value or lottery tickets. James Washington, is he going to be a lottery ticket? Who knows? Gabriel Davis has already probably been picked, but maybe Gabriel Davis falls and he's your lottery ticket, or Hunter Renfrow, or whoever it might be. I drafted Cole Beasley in a situation because I needed some safety. I had no good wide receivers. I drafted a bunch of. I did my strategy. My strategy ended up giving me a running back of the first 4 rounds, and I had more running backs into that kind of middle tier. So I needed wide receivers that were going to fill in on a week-to-week basis. So Russell Gage and Cole Beasley and Olamide Zacarias, and I'm trying to think of any other wide receivers that came to mind. But those are at least 3 that I just middle teen rounds that I was like, I need starters. And then, of course, I had that fourth quarterback. I picked Deshaun Watson. I don't remember what round. It was kind of into that range, 9, 10-ish. And then I picked Matt Ryan. But Matt Ryan. And then Tyrod Taylor was late teens. And so you're looking at players that potentially are either handcuffs or lottery tickets or depth pieces. And then ultimately, you get to 21 through 30, and you are just going complete dart throw mode. But that is how I would set up my team in Superflex. I don't even care if pick 4 is on the board, or even so Jonathan Taylor is going to be probably easily, in my opinion, the number 1 running back. But if you told me Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Jonathan Taylor, where do I have him in Superflex? Well, I have him behind those 4 or 5 quarterbacks that I said, because I want the quarterback that's going to last 10 years. And there's no guarantee, definitely with Jonathan Taylor, there's no guarantee that he's going to last more than 2-3 years. Maybe he lasts more, maybe he doesn't. And then you're talking about, of course, you have Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. They might last 7-8 years. They might be the next DeAndre Hopkins, which would be awesome. But those quarterbacks, those quarterbacks in Superflex get drafted so early. And you'll see that in 2022, maybe not as much because it's such a weak class, but 2023, 2024, even the previous classes, you're able to get these top wide receiver 1 of your class almost at a consistent basis in the middle of that first round. So let's just say you struggle. This is kind of that safety net. You struggle and you end up being the 6th pick, 7th pick, 8th pick, 10th pick, 11th pick, whatever it is. Let's say if you're the champ, you're the 12th pick, so be the champ. So I picked pick 9 and 11 because I know I'm weak in wide receiver. So I'm going to be looking at wide receiver. Now, it's not guaranteed that I'm going to be definitely picking those players. Those picks might be traded by the time the draft happens. Who knows? But I knew that I was okay with being weak at wide receiver, considering that I might get wide receiver 3 or 4 of the draft. I might get the next Elijah Moore, Jalen Waddle, Rashad Bateman, Rondell Moore kind of tier, and I might get 2 of them. And so doing that at a consistent year-to-year basis, I think, is so incredibly important. So I just want to give this kind of advice as you get into the Superflex Dynasty drafting and mock drafting as well. This is Marcus, Dynasty Dads, DeAndre Swift jersey. We'll do some mock drafts here soon. Peace out. Take care.